in prison and let the rich get richer and the poor get poorer and the middle class gets stomped off. And I mean, Trump's trying to change that around, but I don't think he'll be able to do it because the
If
power
memory,
is above him.
Ed,
Will never let it happen.
if memory serves me correctly, didn't you say that you had a bet going with your stepson that you would vote for Trump?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. You remember, man.
yes
That's
I
pretty
do.
cool.
I don't.
Yes I do.
That was pretty good. You remember that, man. But it's like that's what I bet my stepson because I never thought the establishment would let him get this far. A year ago, it's a little over a year ago. It's probably back in December of 15 or November. He said, "Oh, Trump, you gotta." I said, "Trump, there's no way the establishment's gonna let Trump have the Republican nomination." Oh yeah, and I said, "Look, if he loses the Republican nomination, you got to vote Libertarian. And if he wins, I'll vote for Trump." And lo and behold, American people stood up everywhere. They're still standing up today. They're still good. I was just down in not far from where I'm at in Central Florida. Just 5 days ago, he had a big rally, and he's still going to the people, and he's getting big rallies, and the people love him, and they're
Well,
tired
that's
of
it.
DC. Well, DC, I call the district corruption. It doesn't really matter. The
He's
Republicans and Democrats are the same. They're just huge. There's just they call it now it's called you heard about the deep state. The deep state now is these bureaucrats are entrenched in there forever, and they're making six figures, and we have almost 3 million federal employees.
well,
And
I
that's what they're putting up
remember
now.
before I came over here, I remember talking to Felix, and I said to him, "What we really need are term limits." And I hate to say this because age limits, because some of these senators and
Yeah,
congressmen
it's
are like well
McDonald,
into their 70s already.
McShane's the worst of them all, man. And McShane, man, he went over to Europe and America and started saying, "Trump's terrible. I love Muslims. Oh, we got to bring more Muslims over here." And McShane's been, no wonder why he got stomped on by Obama in 2008.
Well,
I looked at that guy and said, "That's a shame, man. That's a shame."
the only thing I have against McCain and Lindsey Graham is the fact that let me get
They
this.
should be hung for uh, they should be hung for treason. We got the federal
The,
government.
the,
90% of it needs to go away. It needs to go away. The DEA needs to go away. The Department of Education, the Department of Energy, all these things need to go away. The states need to watch out for themselves. They keep it decentralized and get rid of all the bureaucrats.
Well,
well, you mentioned
everybody's upset about what he did now with giving the bathroom issues back to the states.
Well, it should be back to the states. Yeah, I mean, the only ones that are. Why do you want one central? We have a diverse population. Let the people rule themselves. Let the county rule themselves. And that's what America's about. That's what our founders believed in. If you go into Kentucky, there's towns there that don't want or counties that don't want alcohol, and you don't have bars, and you don't have. But if you go to Nevada, and if you like bars and prostitution and gambling and everything, you can have it all there. You can get married one day, have a abortion the next day, have this, that, and nobody's going to say anything about it. Well, if that's your lifestyle, fine. But if you have another, let the people at the local level decide what they like at their local level. Don't come over here with an Obama dictate that says everybody must have transgender schools. What an idiot that was. And it's unconstitutional in the first place.
Well,
States' rights are, states formed the federal government. The federal government's supposed to be limited in structure and power, not maximized. You don't want to live under Kim Jong Un. I'd love to send you anybody that thinks that centralized government's the answer under Kim Jong-un or under Stalin. You know, these guys, they were evil, man, and they're, and that you don't want to live under them. You want decentralization. You want the people in your local community that you know. You want the power to be there, not somewhere, not with Kim Jong-un or some centralized idiot in D.C. Regardless, I mean, I don't like any of our presidents of my lifetime. I mean, if you think you like Nixon or Bush or Clinton, you guys are whacked, man. They're all whacked. All those presidents are whacked.
Well, it takes a special kind of temperament to, and ego.
I mean, not all they're all whacked. All those presidents, the executive branch is whacked. Whacked opposition, man.
Do you know Johnson used to run around the White House naked?
Oh, gosh. Yeah, that guy was whacked, man. I mean, look what he did to Great Society. He put us $30 trillion in debt. He was the one who began us. I mean, I really didn't get a chance to know Kennedy. I was 8 when he got shot. But, or no, I don't remember. But it was, I was just a kid when he got shot. And I remember his boy and stuff from the pictures of my mom showing this guy. You kind of remember that because you feel it in school, and it's one of those days you don't forget. But, he's probably the only president of my lifetime that was probably decent, And anyone since then, I'd probably take Trump over them all. Trump, at least he's trying to say, we're going to put an end to this cesspool here. We're going to try to bring it back to America. We're going to try to help the American working class again.
Well, listen,
do I think he's going to do it? I don't know. But,
yeah. Well, what he is doing is surprising everybody. He's doing exactly what he said he would do. Step by step.
Yeah, well,
that's why his base loves him.
It's too early to call yet. When I call you guys maybe in 6 months or, I'll talk to you before that, but probably say by the end of 100 days, he's 30 days in. 100 days in, has he really, how's the wall going? Are we protecting our borders? Has he deported a lot more people? Those are things that really got him in the election.
I believe
Americans are tired of this. Yeah. We realize that nobody has open borders. I mean, what do you think the Trojan horse is? The Trojan horse was about open borders because they thought, oh, look at this beautiful president we're getting. Yes, we get free cheap labor. We get free votes for Democrats or whatever. They put a Trojan horse in, and then boom, the country falls apart and gets taken over. We don't want to go down like that.
I thought it was interesting on the news where they showed, they showed the whole wall, and then all of a sudden it comes to an end. It just stops. Okay? So,
I mean, there's mountainous areas, and, I don't know exactly how they're going to do it, but the fact of the matter is they need to start enforcing the laws about you don't hire criminal invaders. You don't let criminal invaders just come for your things. I mean, that's what brought down the Roman Empire was criminal invaders. You got to put an end to criminal invaders. They got to come in, say why they're coming in, and what their purpose is. If they don't, if you just allow open criminal invasion of your country's going down, baby. And that's why we have to stop the criminal invaders.
Yeah. He just authorized 10,000 more border police.
Yeah, he's getting that. I saw that. I mean, I don't know how it's going to work out. The Border Patrol, that might help out if he starts enforcing some of the laws that were on the books that Obama ignored the whole time he was in office. Maybe, we'll start seeing some positive gains in this,
Well, they say he's already... He probably stepped out a lot of people out of the country already. They say. Yeah, he's been raiding different cities, getting those people that have records.
Bad dudes. That's what he said. Bad dudes.
Get them out. Get
Yeah,
him out.
I mean, he's trying to. I don't know what he's going to be like. Here's where I'm worried about it. I was out today campaigning. I work a lot with the. We're working for. We already got this past November. We got medical marijuana legalized here in Florida, but we're petitioning now for total legalization, like Oregon and Washington and a lot of the other states. So we're trying to, because the hemp plant and the marijuana plant's a great plant. It's because of conspiracy, and that's why I hate centralized government. It's like the federal government was what in 1937 made marijuana illegal, and because of making it illegal, millions of people have gone to prison, millions of people have been harassed, millions of people, and lots of innocent people have been killed. We're trying to get away from that situation, and it's been backed by the Democratic and Republican parties. I hate both parties, by the way, but both those parties suck as far as I'm
Hey,
concerned.
listen.
But we're going to get away from both them parties, and we're going to bring back liberty. And we are doing it state by state.
Well,
It's the states' rights that are winning back our liberty. It's the federal government. It's always been. The federal government was the party of slavery from the get-go. They are the ones that brought us. The Supreme Court's the one that brought us Dred Scott. The Supreme Court, everything about the federal government is bad. We need to decentralize and move back to the states.
We gotta bring back the '60s, Ed. Remember when everybody who had a backyard in the corner started growing their own?
Yeah. We're bringing it back, man. We're reviving it, and we're getting away from the federal government. It's a district of corruption. It's so polluted. It's the cesspool. I don't think Trump has what Trump's. If anybody could probably drain the cesspool, maybe he can, but I don't see it happening.
Well, one
of
the things that he did that was good to drain the cesspool was the executive order he did on lobbyists. When you leave office, you can't be a lobbyist anymore. Nobody talks about that. That's probably one of the best things I've ever seen done.
Yeah, that was. He has some good points. That was a good point. The fact that he says I'm putting a freeze on federal hiring. Let's quit making these things. The fact that he's trying to point it out. I mean, D.C.'s been a cesspool since they shot Kennedy.
The other thing that he did.
What have we got in the last 5 years? There was very little federal government when Kennedy was president. Very little. When Kennedy was president, there was less than 200,000 federal employees. I'm not talking military. I'm talking federal employees. Today, there's almost 3 million federal employees. And that's what they're talking about. It's just so huge, monstrous, disgusting. And they're calling it the deep government, or the deep conspiracy. And, he's trying to, do it. It's like, good luck with that, man. I mean, and people like, oh, you're taking the federal government away. That's our hero. That's what we need. It's like our fathers have been turned over in their grave. But people are so conditioned to believing in the government that the government is the answer, that they can't take care of themselves. The government has to take care of you. The government has to know all your information. And the government has to watch you and spy on you and probe you and number you and name you. And it's the whole thing. It's terrible. We have that back, in the 19th century and in the early 20th century. But the late 20th century, since after Kennedy was shot, it's just been growing and growing and encroaching and encroaching and encroaching. When do we stop the mass surveillance? When do we stop the red light cameras? When do we stop all the bullshit that's thrown at us? A good book to read right now is Battlefield America. It really shows how many. The NSA has more like the TSA, the National Security Association, has more people under its rule than the U.S. Army does. And the NSA has the U.S. Army in Battlefield America. The U.S. Army has 350 rounds of ammunition per Army guy. But the NSA, which comes down on the American people for all their bureaucracy, has 1,350 rounds of ammunition. we have almost 2.5 million Americans